So you're fully pre-approved, but you still may not be ready to buy a home right now. And here's why. My name is Hani Faraj with REMAX Crest, and today I want to talk about all the different expenses that you may encounter when you're buying a property. So let's pretend that you went to the bank, you got pre-approved or pre-qualified, and they gave you a mortgage payment of, let's say, for the property that you want to buy, let's say $2,800 when you're putting down the amount of down payment that you're putting down. Okay, now the problem is that's not the entire story. That's not the full picture. Other things that may come up is you got property tax, you have insurance, you have heating and cooling, you may have maybe a water bill depending on the municipality, you might have a gas bill depending on the type of heating that you have, and definitely electricity will definitely be there. So we have to calculate for all the different things. Now if you're in a strata, it's a townhouse or a condo, you may also have strata fees, as well as if you're in a home, you should probably consider things like, even though you don't have a strata fee, you should probably consider things like maintenance, snow removal, yard work, cleaning the gutters, having the roof like maintained every single year or every couple years. All those things can add up, and I've seen many people who don't account for them, unfortunately kind of get buried or live paycheck to paycheck, and we don't want that for you. In fact, one of the conversations that I have with people, because I used to be a mortgage broker, I literally would write down, okay, tell me about this, tell me about this, tell me about this, all the different things that could come up, and it's like, are you comfortable paying this? And one of the biggest indicators that I see people do is they ignore all the little expenses that they don't pay when you're a renter. Let's be real, you're not paying a strata fee, you're not paying for all the maintenance, you're not paying for all the fixes, you know, somebody else does, and you might just be responsible for heating and cooling, or maybe the electric bill and or the gas bill. You may not know if there's a water bill or something like that, because some municipalities and cities actually either have them in the taxes, some are not in the taxes. Okay, and you know, even though you're a tenant, your insurance, tenant's insurance may be a lot smaller than actually being a landlord, where you have to cover, if it's a strata, basically this deductible, which is for total replacement. Okay, which actually has happened to one of my clients once or twice over 12 years and lots of deals. It does happen. Okay, so that's what I want to do for you. So if you're a buyer, and you've never owned a property before, and you're thinking about buying, I highly recommend you sit down with your realtor and you write down all the different expenses, not just when you buy, so not just the property transfer tax, and not just the conveyancing tax, and not just the, you know, registration checks and all these different things that you got to pay, but actually go through all the different line items of not only acquiring the asset, but also the ongoing cost of having the asset. So again, if you're approved, wonderful, I'm happy for you. What I would recommend is you sit down with a professional like myself or somebody on my team, and let's talk about all the different expenses that are there that could come up on a predictable revenue, like a predictable monthly basis, or they might come up out of like thin air. Okay, another thing that could come up if you're in a strata, when we're buying a property, there's something called a depreciation report, and if you read it, it'll always almost tell you if there's something coming up. So part of it, let's say the roof is end of life, well, that's guaranteed going to come up and you need to fix it. If it's a wood frame building, at some point or another the windows will have to be replaced, or maybe recaulked, or reinforced. It depends on the membrane. You know, some of the older condos, they don't, the balconies, the membranes have to be redone, things like that. So these are some of the things that might come up. So again, if you're unsure about what the expenses might be, please feel free to contact me. I'd love to help you out. Again, Hani with REMAX and Crest and BC Condos and Homes. Thank you and have a good day. Cheers, bye.